Baby's Day Out is about as interesting as my taint. This film is complete and total bullshit, and I didn't buy its unrealistic premise for one goddamn minute. But the one positive thing about the film was that it didn't lie to me. It was pretty much exactly what it said it was. However, when the film was released overseas in Germany, audiences there must have been very disappointed because the poster for the foreign release of the film was accidentally titled Geschlechtsverkehr der Schmerz entfernt. When loosely translated, it means fuck the pain away. Number 1, written by John Hughes. So Baby's Day Out was written by a guy named John Hughes, but he made some of the best movies of the 80s on the subject of teens growing up and struggling with becoming adults. Movies like 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and The Breakfast Club. Mr. Hughes also wrote a lot of pretty good comedy films as well. Films like National Lampoon's Vacation, Weird Science, Uncle Buck, The Great Outdoors, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Kevin Bacon. But then in the 90s, John Hughes started writing total shit like the Beethoven movies, Dennis the Menace, Flubber, and Made in Manhattan? What the fuck? So it won't surprise you that he wrote this piece of shit script for Baby's Day Out, a movie about a baby that crawls around the city and almost gets hit by cars. He must have whipped up this shit script in an afternoon for some money to buy a new boat. Can't say I blame the man, cause new boats ain't gonna buy themselves. But he made us all suffer as the consequence. Baby's Day Out actually spawned a congressional hearing in 1994 on whether the federal government should ban the production of Hollywood films altogether. No, really, I'm not shitting you, this actually happened. So anyway, let's break it all down. Number 2, nothing was funny. This movie attempted to do two things: make you laugh and warm your heart. It did neither. It only warmed my pants. With urine in my pants. In fact, this movie is so fucking bad that it makes Furry Vengeance look like Jersey Girl. Or was it Jersey Shore? So anyways, the creators of the movie were counting on two things to carry the film. 1, that audiences would find the baby cute. And number 2, that audiences would find people getting hit in the crotch hysterical. And that's pretty much it. And while this baby does have a face that you just want to feed Taco Bell to, it doesn't make up for the massive amounts of flaws that this fucking movie is plagued with. You see, a classic cartoon premise doesn't translate to real life situations without totally frustrating people. So many things happen in this movie that just make you so fucking angry that I can't list them all. From people never ever noticing that there's a baby right there, to people sustaining injuries so severe that they should have died. Cartoon violence works in cartoons only, but when it's in a movie with real people, then you're asked to suspend your disbelief, and your brain is all over the map when all the laws of physics are broken. I mean, you can only take it so far. When an audience gets really frustrated that there's no logic in a movie, they'll usually end up hating it. You see, Baby's Day Out was clearly modeled after the success of Home Alone. And when I say modeled, I mean ripped off! We got the same elements in play. A vulnerable, cute little kid fending off would-be robbers and criminals all on his own.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
And while it was a virtual certainty that Macaulay Culkin would grow up to be some kind of weird, drug-addled, creepy sex pervert, for the time being he was a cute little kid and everybody loved him. I think with Baby's Day Out they said, let's make him an even younger kid this time. And instead of a house, he's in the whole city. They fucked up so bad it's not even funny. Kinda like the guy that installed my toilet. So the main bad guys in this movie are 3 knucklehead criminals who kidnap baby Bink to get ransom money from his rich parents. They pose as homosexual photographers to gain entry into the house.
You were expecting us?
And then they convince the retarded mother to have a few moments alone with her baby.
May I have some time alone with the child?
What?
To learn how best to him.
Uh-huh. Yeah, nothing weird about that. So then they sneak him out the window into a creepy van and leave. At least they got a proper car seat for the baby. Now, while we're on the subject of ripping shit off, these guys are essentially the modern day Three Stooges. There's the slightly smarter one that's in charge. There's the dumb one. And lastly, the guy that was in the Matrix. What? There's no fucking shame at all with this movie. They're just taking shit that's worked before and shoving it in wherever they can. There's nothing original here, and that's the big problem. It's all a bunch of crap we've seen before. You know, when you're 119 years old, you've seen a lot of stuff. You've seen a lot of old cartoons, old movies, TV shows. So when you watch stuff today, nothing really seems new or fresh. Except for Twilight. I really like Twilight. But you see, the Three Stooges, I mean, those guys are professional slapstick guys. These assholes aren't funny at all. I mean, it's kind of shocking that in a film that relies entirely on slapstick humor, that they didn't cast anyone that's associated with physical comedy in these roles. Let's take a look at this first scene. So the joke here is that Joey Pants can't change a diaper, and he's got no idea how to put clothes on a baby. Let's watch. You get it? You get it yet? That's the joke. Hey, maybe you should download a program into his brain about childcare. That was a Matrix joke, did you get it? But while the audience is praying to die, or for the scene to end, whatever comes first, the horrible reality starts to set in. The reality that this is going to be the whole film. We have to watch 90 minutes of this shit. So let's explain how we got here. Number 3, the setup. So I already mentioned how these guys stole the baby, right? But here's why. It's because the mother character wants to have a picture of her baby in the paper.
A picture in the paper. Everyone we know has had their baby's picture in the paper. A picture in the paper.
Apparently in this movie's universe, you get a picture in the paper of your stupid baby if you're important and rich enough. So the angle here is that these two assholes don't really appreciate their baby. It's established that the nanny has more of a bond with the baby than the mother does. And she's a cold, distant, heartless, self-absorbed, horrible woman who has nothing else to do all day but to not care about her baby. I guess that's a lesson all of us can relate to. If you live in a giant mansion and want a picture of your baby in the paper,
And had a picture in the paper and
you better care about your baby too, or else he'll get kidnapped, crawl across a busy street, and a truck will drive over him. But you see, this is just where the shit starts getting irritated. Baby Bink is kidnapped, and then they call in Fred Thompson to help. Then nothing happens the entire plot, except for one scene where their only lead comes from a prank call made by Mike Starr.
I called because I care.
No secrets revealed about the bad guys, no plot twist about the ransom, or what the husband does for a living, or whatever. It's literally scene after scene of Baby Bink going from one comic set piece to the next. He climbs on a roof, bad guys fall off the roof. He leaves the building in an elevator because a box propped open the door. But then the baby climbs on a bus, and then they follow the bus for some reason like a bunch of crazy people. I guess they wanted to make the scene exciting and have it be like a exciting chase scene or something. Hey idiots, a bus makes regular stops. Just follow it and then park behind it when it stops, or else you're gonna lose it. Oh, there it goes. And how did the driver not notice that there's a baby in the bus's stairwell? I mean, it's right next to him. Eventually they catch the bus, and then they see that Baby Bink is in some big fat bitch's purse. Now this scene leads me to the next section, which I'll call Number 4, Harsh Reality. This sickening movie should be fucking banned, because it essentially makes light of the terrible reality and increasing problem of home infant comedy injury, or HICI. Movies like Baby's Day Out paint an unrealistic portrayal that infants are toys to be played with, and they can be put in dangerous situations without any real consequence. Case in point, the censored and very graphic sidewalk scene. The following video may be disturbing to some people. So when the fat woman gets chased by the kidnappers, it's because Baby Bink is inside her bag and they saw him inside her bag. She places the bag on the ground and it tips over. This causes Baby Bink to tumble out, slamming his delicate head on the concrete. Now before you get upset, this was just a dummy. Hollywood often uses prop kids in scenes if they're like too heavy for the actor to hold them all day, or if they're like put in some kind of dangerous situation. But this very simple act of placing down a bag with a baby in it would have caused serious injury to a real baby. The filmmakers ultimately censored the shot from the final film, but that doesn't erase the reality that babies are fragile, and this kind of disgusting, misleading, irresponsible film should never have been made. Now let's talk about my favorite scene in the whole film, when Baby Bink is trapped in a gorilla cage and is almost eaten alive. Number 4. The gorilla scene. So somehow Baby Bink ends up inside a gorilla cage, and for 30 minutes we have to watch these assholes try and get the baby out in long, boring, and unfunny ways. So speaking of injuries, let's talk about this and go through why it was horribly inaccurate and misleading. Number 1. In order to bend a 1 inch by 1 inch steel bar, you need to exert about 40,000 psi of pressure. Number 2. His body would not be able to apply that kind of pressure without resulting in serious medical injuries. Number 3. The gorilla could not throw him the way he did, without proper leverage, and certainly couldn't throw him at the speed needed to bend the bars. Now, assuming that the gorilla could actually throw him fast enough to bend those bars, this is what would have happened to Joe Montana. Number 1. His spine would have shattered on impact, along with his hip and pelvic bones. Number 2. His torso would bend inwards, snapping his clavicle bones and shattering his entire rib cage.
I'm a banana.
Number 3. Massive damage to all internal organs. Number 4. His skull would have cracked when it hit the bars, causing brain damage or instant death. If his head managed to pass in between 2 bars, the whiplash effect would have certainly severed his head from his body. But I doubt that would have happened in a children's film. This would cause the head to land somewhere in the chimpanzee cage, roll around on the ground for a few seconds before coming to a stop. The chimpanzees would then look for the head, find it, and then begin ripping it apart, eating the flesh off the skull. Number 5. The plot. Oh yeah, let's talk about the plot, although this will be a short topic. So throughout the whole film, while the baby and the kidnappers run around, we keep cutting back to the mom, who just sits in her house practicing for her next acting gig, which is a Zoloft ad. Maybe go out and look for your fucking baby.
Now, it would be pointless and dangerous for you to go out searching for your baby.
Oh.
Now, I've been through a number of these cases.
Hey.
And I understand how you feel. Mrs. Cotwell, there are 5 million
Fred
people
Thompson,
in the city
shut
and
your
thousands
trap.
of places where your boy could be.
Shut up! Let her go look for a baby. She probably found it by now. You haven't gotten shit done, you fucker. Don't look at me like that. Answer me. You fuck. You see, the criminals just happened to find the baby many times just by accident. However, the mother staying home all the time does set up for what could have been the greatest lesbian sex scene ever to appear in a children's film.
I haven't forgotten your feelings.
I mean, you know, the mom's a little tense.
My feelings don't matter.
Yes, they do. They do very much.
The nanny's a little tense. She wants some love in a female way that you know.
The love my baby's gotten has been as much yours as mine.
I'm sorry, but can't I get anything out of this movie? Really? Nothing's funny. There's no real action, no sex, no violence, and then there's a shitty, sappy, stupid ending that don't make no sense. I mean, both these women have done their fair share of dirty roles. Why can't they make room for that here too? Wait, why am I watching this movie? Fuck Baby's Day Out. Fuck it! Anyways, so basically all these events are strung along by the only plot in the film, that this baby is following the visuals in his storybook, which lead him from one location to the next. This dumb premise allows the nanny, who might actually be the real mother of the baby, if you know what I'm saying, to figure out that Baby Bink was gonna somehow find his way to a retirement home for old World War II soldiers. All on his own.
Nanny and baby Boo stopped at the old soldiers' home to visit Mr. Tinsel. That's where he is.
No, I ain't shitting you. That's the actual conclusion of the film. Because it was in the storybook, so the baby knows how to find the retirement home. I don't even know what's... So anyways, let's go back a bit. The criminals actually physically catch the baby at one point, and what follows just might be the worst scene in motion picture history. So the baby crawls through a pipe and doesn't get stuck, unlike baby Jessica. Babies don't go nowhere near pipes. So they grab the baby, and then they walk back to their van and they see that some cops are there. So instead of one of them running off with the baby while the other two talk to the police and agree to move their van, all three sit down on a park bench and wait for the cops to come to them so that they could have a gut-busting, hilarious scene. Joe Mantegna hides the baby under his coat. Now to the cops, I guess this doesn't look suspicious at all, even though it looks highly suspicious. Then, in a visual more creepy than anything you might see in The Shining, the baby's little hand reaches down and starts grabbing at his cock. He actually squeezes his dick over and over again with the creepy little baby hand.
To admire the beautiful.
Mantegna makes weird, painful faces, and still the cops don't ask, "Hey, what's under your coat?" Then the baby takes out a lighter, and then he manages to get it lit for some reason, and then starts to burn his crotch. Look, no matter how much you don't want to get caught, and no matter how much you want that ransom money, if someone starts putting a lighter on my fucking crotch, I'm gonna get up screaming! This scene goes on for a painfully long period of time. In fact, let's examine just how long this hilarious scene goes on for. Let me get out my fucking stopwatch. Begin! I'm gonna shut off my microphone for a little while I time this scene. Oh good, I can take a break now from making this review for all these stupid assholes on the internet. You get some shit done. Alright. I gotta make a phone call.
Sky Mall Direct, this is Brian. How can I help you?
Hello. I'd like to order some new hair plugs.
Okay, sir. What's your name?
My name's Harry S. Plinkett. Customer number 497-482-0385.
How many hair plugs did you need? And was there a problem with the last batch that we sent you?
No, they got ripped out by a hooker.
Okay. Let me just pull this order up here for you. We can get you all set. So we'll get that order in right away for you. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
Yeah. I wanted to check on a separate order I placed about a week ago now.
Okay, sir. What was that order for?
It was for about 16 merkins. Item number 568, salt and pepper, extra absorbent.
Okay. I am showing those as shipped and received. Are you sure you didn't get those, sir?
I'll have to look around. Sometimes my cat opens my mail, but I don't know what my cat would want with the box full of merkins.
Well, maybe your cat mistook them for cat toys.
I guess that's possible. Anything's possible with Bush in the White House.
Okay, let's confirm. We have 24 new hair plugs, 16 salt and pepper merkins, a box of industrial strength anal lube, 11 rolls of duct tape, 40 boxes of hefty trash bags, black, 1 C46 Black & Decker tabletop saw blade replacement, 1 case of Raid Fast Kill Low Irritant, and a DVD titled Little People Having Big Fun. Will that complete your order, sir?
Yeah. You guys got my credit card number on file? It's my brother-in-law's credit card. It says Rick Berman on it. He said I could use it. You gotta trust me.
Okay, your total comes to $2,568.
Charge that card. When will I get my merkins in the mail? Ooh, a scene from Baby's Day Out's almost over. Listen, just tell me how long it's gonna take to get my order.
About 5 to 7 business days.
Okay,
sir.
good. I gotta go now. I gotta go.
Well, thank you, sir, for using Sky Mall Direct. My name was Brian. Did you have any further...
Oh, good. Brian's gone. I gotta turn my microphone back on. Okay, I'm back on. Oh my god! 6 minutes? Did this scene really need to be 6 minutes? Number 6. A climax. So the climax of the movie takes place, but where else? A dangerous construction zone. Connecting this scene from the scene in the park is 2 shots where the one dude runs out of the park and then quickly finds the baby somehow.
Now, it would be pointless and dangerous for you to go out searching for your baby.
Alright, so back to the construction scene. Again, this throws all logic out of the window when we see things happen to people that should have killed them. I mean, was this movie made just to piss me off? Seriously, it's making me really fucking angry. How does a guy not die when falling 20 stories into a trash bin? So it's on like the baby gets on like one of the I-beams and then they start lifting him up in the air and he just sits on it. And he doesn't like move or fall off it or anything like that. Carl Sandburg once said, "Life is like an onion. Peel it off one layer at a time. Sometimes you weep." He's crawling around and then Carl Sandburg's a fucking retard. The guy gets hit in the head with the hammer and then the baby like slides down the I-beam. He doesn't fall off the edge. He just slides perfectly down the I-beam and lands on top of an elevator. Like this guy, oh jeez, God. And why did they dress the baby up like Chucky?
The Milwaukee mob couldn't kill me.
What, the Milwaukee mob? What the fuck does that mean? And then like, I don't know. If you go back earlier in the film, like all this shit happens throughout this whole movie. Well, Barkins. Like, how is he fitting through the bars? He's like all the way into the cage, and they've established that the bars are just like, but somehow his entire body is through the bars, and then they cut to the next shot, and it's just his arm. So then, like in the department store, he goes in and out of the department store through the revolving doors, and then on his way out, he's like sitting in the revolving doors, and of course everyone knows revolving doors always spin counterclockwise. So watch, he's like sitting down facing the one direction, and then in the very next shot, he's facing the other way, so that the door will push him. But he wasn't sitting that way in the shot right before it. My cat stole my merkin. He didn't have the time to turn around. And then, speaking of that, when he goes outside, I mean, the news reporter's doing a story on a missing baby, and the baby's right there, and she drops her microphone, and she bends down to pick it up, but they make like a point to show that she doesn't look down to pick up her microphone. But obviously the camera guy panned down, and he saw the baby, and then they show the mother, and she's in her house, and she just happens to miss the shot where the baby's on the TV, but that doesn't exclude the 100,000 people that are watching the newscast. Then they're on like the 60th floor of this construction building, and for some reason there's some kind of heavy machine all the way up there, but it's mixing something that looks like banana pudding? What is that? Is that like glue or? Anybody want to help me milk my cock? It doesn't look like concrete mix to me. It looks more like banana pudding. Maybe they're making some kind of comment about the Gerber Corporation and their anti-union practices. And so email me if you're in construction and you could tell me what that substance is. What?
You want to make jokes? Join the circus.
They don't tell jokes in the circus. It's more about acrobatics and animals and amazing feats. It's not really about jokes. Now, if the gorilla were to actually hit the broom with the amount of force needed to propel a man upwards into the air that high, clearly the broom would have snapped in half rather than what happened in the movie. This clearly doesn't make any sense. Fuck the pain away. 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 She lied to me. She said she was gonna put it in episode 3 and she didn't. She lied to me. Instead I had to sit through this piece of fucking shit. This movie is a bunch of bullshit. But what? Who's calling me at this hour? Hello?
Harry, it's Nadine.
Oh, it's you. What do you want?
Harry, listen. I kept my promise. I didn't go to the cops.
That's good, Nadine. It's good to keep your promises.
I guess I'm just a girl who likes to take matters into her own hands.
Well, given your line of work, I'd imagine that's true. Say, how's that baby of yours?
I wanted to tell you. I know where you live. And I'm coming for you.
Well, I'll be waiting for you. You come and you bring it. Yeah.